Hello, Fort Worth ISD. I'm Kachara Bradford, your Assistant Superintendent for Curriculum and Instruction, and I'm excited to partner with you as we launch the Fort Worth ISD Learning Model. So what is a learning model? Well, I'm really glad you asked. Our learning model really defines for us what we think learning should look like in every classroom.
He waited, comma.
Across every grade level.
¿Por qué lo leo como una pregunta?
For every student in Fort Worth ISD.
Wow, you did it.
All students. Some of the key components are collaboration, shared ownership, leadership. The entire model was designed as part of a collaborative process with our community, giving input all along the way. You will see voice from business leaders, church members, parents, teachers, students. Everyone had input in the design and development of our learning model. One of the overarching themes of the Fort Worth ISD Learning Model is this idea of student engagement. What should learning look like in every classroom? What should the learning experience be in every classroom? I was able to talk to some students about this very topic. All right, guys, thank you so much for joining me today. So I want to ask you, can you describe to me like your favorite activity? What was really something that caught your interest and your attention? What is something that you found really sort of wrapped you into the learning experience? Will you share for us?
Whenever the teacher is engaged in an activity with us and not just standing by and watching us do it. So for example, I remember 2 years ago in freshman year, we did a lot of like Socratic discussions where the teacher would have the conversation with us and we would all be talking about one topic that really engaged me.
So the teacher was having conversation with you, not
Yes.
separate from the learning.
Exactly.
All right, thank you. Casey, will you share maybe an experience of what really captures your interest in an assignment?
Basically being able to choose what you want your project to be about. So there's this one in my English literature class where we were able to make a soundtrack list that reflected our lives and basically highlighting the most important part of our lives, and sharing that in class definitely brought classmates closer together, and I think that's a really good idea that the teacher did.
So it was something personal to you?
It was personal, but it was also a learning experience and being able to learn about each other in the class as well.
Okay, so it also built that relationship and the collaboration. So did you guys talk to each other a lot during that activity?
Yes, after we would share, we were able to ask questions, and basically, if it was too personal, we would comfort each other. But it was a very meaningful project that definitely brought us closer as a class.
Okay. Elle, do you have anything you could add to it?
I'd say any time that my teachers noticed that I wasn't really into the assignment and kind of changed the assignment so that it kind of fit who I was better, but still learning the same material. So it happened a lot for like any of my art or design courses, where they would notice that I wasn't really into the activity or the project that they were trying to get us to make, and just kind of personalized it a bit more. It definitely made me care more about what I was doing.
Okay, thank you. So Anaya, I really want to hear from you as an elementary student in Fort Worth ISD. Can you tell me about an activity that you were really engaged in or that you found very exciting?
In my art class, we always had a contest, and my favorite one was the Safe City, because we had to show what a safe city would look like or do a poster of a safe city.
And why did you like that?
Because the world needs to have a safe environment.
Oh, so you really connected with the world and the environment. All right, that's very cool. I also want to hear from you. Will you tell me about a teacher that maybe stands out to you? If you said, I had a really good teacher, tell me about that teacher. What were some of the things that you think make a good teacher?
I think what makes a good teacher is a teacher that gets involved in the activities that the students do and talks them through it instead of just saying do it. Math class, when we would go to groups, it'd be like a game. We would act it out or use blocks to show it.
All right, so when in your math class, it would be like a game, and you were really engaged because you were using blocks and manipulatives. Okay, thank you. Elle, do you have any examples?
My middle school and high school art and design teacher was really involved and engaged in my life and really tried to get me involved in things in school and outside of school that kind of dealt with what my interests were in the classroom, and really kind of helped to show me where my education would actually or could actually lead me once I left school.
Wow, okay, thank you. Brady, how about you?
The main thing a teacher needs is for them to care. The good teachers are the ones that care about their students and they know what they're doing. Because even if they don't see it, teachers have a big impact on students' lives, whether it's negative or positive, because we see them every day. So if they really do care, we can see that it impacts us.
How do you see that? What do you see?
How energetic they are in class every day. If they talk to us like we're just students or like we are, like they're almost like they're friends, but more like peers. They engage, whether they engage us or not, stuff like that.
Okay, so it comes across to you, teachers that really want to be there, you feel like, because they make that connection with you.
Yeah, if you want to be there, then it's going to show. We can see that.
Jose, do you have anything you want to add? Will you talk to me about the teacher that you had, I think last year maybe you said, and his class and how he really got to know you?
He was he was like slash math and biology. He was more than just like a teacher. He was more like a kind of inspirational kind of person, motivational thing. The reason he's one of my favorite teachers is because he was, let's say, like a little laid back, but knew what to do. Like he would teach you, he'd show you the thing, and then if you needed help on it, he'd help you. He'd like walk us step by step on some parts that he knew were hard and knew like we wouldn't understand it.
Does anyone else have anything they want to share about what makes a great teacher?
I had this one class sponsor who thought it was important to teach us on giving back to our community. And by doing that, my class, we had raised money for the past 4 years of high school, and after we graduated, we had leftover money, and she asked us, what do we want to do with it? And we had decided to purchase college supplies and make it into bundles for the next graduating class, because we felt like it's important to leave a ladder down for our community.
Okay, great. So some of the things that I'm hearing you say, just as I listened to, they found something that you were really interested in and then showed you the possibilities of what it could become. They also just, you can really sense from a teacher how passionate or whether they want to be there or not, and that makes a difference to students. And then Jose, I heard you say he knew the content, he knew math, he knew science, but then he also kind of knew me as a person. Is that what you're saying? And Anaya, yours is like, you were just really interested in the class. Like he really made it fun and gave you games. And Casey, some of what you were sharing is there was that global connection. Actually, both of you shared a connection to the world with safety, and then you guys did a giving back. So it was content, and then it was more than content. Do y'all all kind of agree with that?
Yeah.
Yes. Listening to students share their experiences with teachers and with activities, it becomes resoundingly apparent that teachers, you matter, and that students want to matter to you. The Fort Worth ISD learning model transitions the role of teacher from deliverer of content knowledge to a facilitator, partnering with students in the learning, and students transform into leaders of their learning. I was able to talk to the students about this concept of goals and leadership. Let's hear what they have to say. So I want you to think about, as a student, what does that word goals mean? What are some goals that maybe you have had, that you have now, or like some goals that you have for your future? Brady, you're up.
I guess a good way to describe a goal is, and it could be like an achievement, something you want to reach. You have to take steps to get there. You can track a goal. Personally, I have a lot of goals that are they're on a smaller scale, so like day-to-day type goals. Sometimes it's hard for me to find a larger goal, and I think that's one thing that could be emphasized more in education, is helping students have an end in mind and find a goal that they want to reach, because I've been thinking about what I want to do in the future, and it's really hard because there's so many things. Mm-hmm. But a goal is like something that you want to achieve, by taking steps.
Okay, thank you. Anaya, what do you think about goals? Do you have any goals right now?
Yes, and when I get to high school, I want to study art and artist.
Okay, thank you. How about you, Casey? What are your thoughts on this idea of goal setting or having goals for your educational career?
Right now, my goal is, a short-term goal is to graduate from college, to be the first of my family to do that. And that'll be like the biggest accomplishment for me and my family. And a long-term goal is to be able to do something that I'm passionate about and it not feel like work, but it feel like something that I enjoy to do.
Those are great goals. Thank you for sharing that. How about you, Jose? What is your thinking around goals? And have you ever had a class where they set goals for you, or do you set goals for yourself? Talk to us as a student. What is it like? What do you think about goals?
Just one time whenever I was in, I think, 9th or 8th grade, I had my teacher, he set a goal for us. My math teacher set a goal for us to learn the perfect squares up to 25. And I really did try. I only got up to like 80%. I got like 80%.
Hey, that's good. That's pretty good.
So far, the one goal I've actually really set is to like pass each grade level one try, one attempt.
Have you been successful?
Yeah.
Very good. So do you have a goal now? You're about to enter into your sophomore year. Do you have a goal for learning?
Probably try to get AB. Try. I could never do it. I've always tried, but I could never do it. I'd always get like 1 C or an F, and then yeah, that's kind of how it went.
So that's a great goal. So going into the school year, you know you have this goal in your mind. Do you think there's a way that teachers can connect to help you reach your goals?
Everyone always has a teacher that gives you a 69% instead of like a 70. Just to help you out like one bit, give you like an extra work or something. No. So
your goals are like focused on your grades?
Yeah.
Got it, cool. What do you think?
I think it's important for the teachers to actually know a student's goals so that they can help out in any way that they can, whether that means giving them extra work if they need to raise their grade and they know that this is a goal that the student has, or if it's something bigger like going to college, kind of helping them out, showing them, telling them about certain schools, or just being aware of the student's goals and kind of bringing them up every so often so that it kind of helps the student actually stick to them.
Have you had a goal that a teacher supported you in accomplishing?
I definitely had, well, my goal to go to the university that I go to now is one that I had for quite some time, and most of my teachers were aware of that. So once application time actually came around, they were very helpful in actually making sure that I made certain deadlines and kind of looking over my work to kind of help me and make sure that I was putting my best foot forward.
So each of you has a good framework for goals, and yours are very daily, short-term goals. You had a large, big goal, and you have like this consistent goal over time that you're working at year after year. So I really appreciate that, because we really want to know what can our work be to support you all in achieving your goals. So thank you all for sharing your different perceptions and understandings around goals. That's very helpful to us. Okay, so when we look at the Fort Worth ISD learning model, right in the center there are these words: shared ownership, collaboration, and leadership. And we're really thinking about this idea of what does leadership mean for students? Are we all leaders? Can students be leaders? I wanted to get your take on just that word, leadership, and how do you see yourself at all as a leader? What do you think?
I think it's important to allow students to kind of understand that no matter who they are, they can be a leader, because I was involved in a lot of groups, and a lot of my other fellow leaders were people that weren't recognized on their own campuses necessarily, but they kind of chose to step up into these leadership positions. So I think it's important that everyone understands that they can be a leader in some way.
Everyone can be a leader in some way. Did you ever have a teacher give that message to like all students? Do you think all students believe that?
I think that there is a lack of that sentiment actually like verbalized to the students. I think if students were actually like told that they could be a leader, it's kind of like when you know somebody believes in you, you kind of believe in yourself much more.
That's really good, thank you. Anaya, what are your thoughts? Elementary school student, you're about to be a 5th grader. Do you see yourself as a leader? Do you think students can be leaders?
I think any student can be a leader. Every year we have a runner-up for president and vice president and others, and the kids have to vote.
So right now you see leadership at your school as like people who run to be class presidents. Do you think other people can be leaders than the class president and vice president?
I think other people can be leaders just by walking in the hallway every day and not running in the halls.
That's interesting. What about you, Jose? High school, are you a leader?
I've actually tried my best to be a leader. I remember this one time, the high schoolers came together. We went to the middle schoolers and we just kind of gave them our perspective of how, you know, they shouldn't be scared of the high schoolers just because we're older.
So as a high schooler, you were able to connect with middle schoolers as part of your organization, and you felt like that was an example of leadership.
Yeah.
Okay, very good, thank you. What about you, Brady? What is your thoughts on leadership, student leaders?
Well, leadership is a pretty broad thing. There can be leaders that are very obvious leaders, like the captain of a team, for example, or not very obvious, so like a leader that's just like a leader within your friend group. But all leaders have a common theme, and that is that they lead other people to a common goal, or something they want to reach, basically. So leaders can go often unrecognized, but all students can be leaders.
Do you see at your school that all students think they're leaders?
No, I think some students see other people as leaders, and they're like, oh, that person is outgoing, they can get people to do what they want them to do, not necessarily in a bad way, but just what they want them to achieve. But I think a lot of students see themselves as followers, which is not necessarily a bad thing in my opinion, but everyone should be able to have a voice and an opinion.
So leadership's also connected to having a voice.
Yes.
Do you think what could teachers do to bring out that leadership in every student?
Like Elle said, remind people that they can be leaders, and that you don't have to be a leader in a big way. You can be a small leader for not even people at your school, but just your family or other friends, or things like that.
Do you all agree with that? Yes, in your family and with your friends. Do teachers see themselves as leaders, do you think? Are teachers leaders? Or is it like just the principal or just the superintendent? What's your perspective on teachers as leaders?
I think teachers have to be leaders because, like I said, you have to reach everyone's trying to reach a certain goal, and a teacher is a huge outlet to that. Making good grades in school can lead to bigger things, so they have to be able to lead you and help you to achieve your goals in school and in life.
What do you think? Are teachers leaders?
I think every teacher is a leader, because if they weren't a leader, they would just do whatever they want in the class, and the class would be destroyed by the
Yeah, the class would be crazy. They have to be leaders. Very good. Thank you for sharing. Isn't it exciting listening to students talk about their learning? I particularly enjoyed them sharing about leadership and how they see all students as leaders and the potential to be leaders, and they see us as leaders. That's exciting. You're invited to join us in developing lead learners throughout the Fort Worth ISD with implementing the learning model. This year, we'll have multiple sessions for you to partner with us. Come in for professional learning as we begin to reimagine learning in Fort Worth ISD with the learning model. Okay, so last thing, a message you want every teacher to know from a Fort Worth ISD student.
That every student needs an opportunity to shine.
Always have high expectations of every student that you teach.
Just make learning fun instead of reading it right out of a book.
Always encourage your students, never discourage them from not being able to do something.
Love what you do, care about your students, and if you do that, you can lead them to great places.
Wow. So you all have provided some great answers, some great insight, some great information. I hope you all continue to see yourself as leaders and continue sharing your voice and your input and your perspective. We really do need it to make Fort Worth ISD the best district for learners like all of you. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
As lead learners, this is an exciting time to lead learning in Fort Worth ISD.